The moments of truth for the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So there are many moments of truth for the narcissist. And in that sentence, just like in the thumbnail, there are two words that usually you would be saying they don't go together. Can you guess what they are? That's right, truth and narcissist. You see, the narcissist is always running from the truth. They are hiding from the truth. They want to make their own false narrative to make it different than the truth. And they want to trick people and trap them in the narcissistic fog. And they want to use, abuse, and manipulate people. But these moments of truth for the narcissist, they have arrived. They've arrived right now. They will arrive tonight. They will arrive tomorrow. And they will arrive for the rest of their lives. You see, you cannot go through life destroying people's relationships, taking their health, stealing their money, dividing everything from them without there being a big price to pay. And the narcissist is beginning to figure this out. There will be an ultimate moment of truth for all of us, and you should know when that is, and it's not going to be today. At least that's not my hope. Meaning the planet's going to spin around tomorrow. I will be here, you will be here, and we will all be continuing to work on ourselves. What will the narcissist be doing if they're still here? They will be facing another day of darkness, another day of a huge void, another day of running from the demons that continue to spin around in their anxiety-riddled mind, another day of hiding from the truth. But you see, the truth can only be repressed or hidden so long. Eventually, everything, and I mean everything, bubbles up to the surface. Your childhood wounds bubbled up. That's probably one of the reasons why you entered the relationship. It's the same with me. Your level of empathy, you discovered that you are one of the very few people that has the high level of empathy that you have, and that was weaponized against you. You didn't know that, and that is the truth. You also figured out by now that narcissism exists. That was a big, big truth to figure out, that the person you are considering never loved you. They never cared about you. They don't care about anybody but themselves. You see, these are all truths, and these are all things that perhaps you didn't know in the past, and I certainly didn't either. Now I am fully aware. I am actually awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and I pay it forward every day to help you get to where you are going. Where you're going is a place called the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. But to get there, you'll have to let the narcissist go. And you'll have to understand that they are no longer in your life, or they shouldn't be, and certainly they won't be in the future. Those four ties that I've mentioned for 5+ years or 4+ years, they include the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie, and they must be cut by you to get away from the toxic narcissist. And eventually, one of the truths that the narcissist will realize is, yes, they blew up your relationship. Yes, they stole your health, they stole your time, your money, and everything they could from you. And they did it knowingly, and they did it deliberately. And they tried, I can assure you, they tried to drag out your relationship as long as you would still listen to the false narrative that they were telling you, as long as you would still stay stuck in the narcissistic fog and still giving them chances and opportunities. Once you figured out that the person you're considering was toxic, maybe even a narcissist, that's when you got your first light bulb moment. Was it a pleasant experience to understand that? No, it wasn't. Did it take you a while to process it? Absolutely. Then you went down different rabbit holes of education and exploration. And you see, it always starts with one person, and that person was the narcissist. And eventually, then you go back to your relationships with your family, with your romantic relationships, with your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, and everybody else. Then you start identifying certain people. I'm not saying you diagnose people. I'm saying you just look and you figure out, wow, that third grade teacher, Mrs. Hamilton, real person, by the way, she was amazing. She did so many great things for my class, and she was an incredible teacher. You see, she's one of the people that I will never forget. She's probably not with us right now, but the point being is she changed my life in the third grade. I will never forget her. That's a person that at the time I knew she was a good teacher, but I didn't realize that she would change my life because I'm talking about her right now in a good way. That is a good thing to understand humanity and how the mind works and how people can weaponize certain characteristics against themselves or against other people. Remember, you have two different types of people, main different types, polar opposites, if you will. You have the narcissist, or worse, on one end, and you have the empath on the other end. In between, you have different shades of everybody, and we are all different parts of everything. I get the whole thing. But the true apex predator, the person you're considering, they tried to destroy your life. They did the best they could to tear you apart from the inside out. They used the smear campaign. They infiltrated everything they could to take whatever they could from you, including your mind and so much more. And they didn't think you'd put yourself back together, but that's what you've done and or that's what you're doing. And then one of the cold, hard truths that the narcissist will have to face is this, is that they couldn't finish you off. They tried, but they couldn't, because unlike everybody else that they had destroyed and probably didn't put themselves back together, you are different. You are here, you're in the community, you're getting your cup full, you're coming back each and every day for more and more wisdom. Maybe by now you're dropping comments on the channel. Who knows what you're doing, but you're continuing to focus on yourself. You see, when you're in the relationship, you were focused on the narcissist. You weren't focused on yourself. You didn't have any time to focus on yourself. That's why your health went by the wayside, your money went to zero, your hobbies you couldn't participate in, and you couldn't do anything other than be on that hamster wheel of abuse, probably going to work, coming home, doing dishes, cooking, cleaning, parenting, raising kids, planning for things, overspending. You probably got into a mountain of credit card debt and so many other things. And what was the narcissist doing? Well, they were just sitting on their high chair, and the high chair here has double meaning. The first meaning is they're an adult baby in a high chair. Remember when you were a kid, you were in a high chair? Well, that's where the narcissist rules or roosts from, a high chair for a toddler. And the other part of the high chair is they acted like they were holier than thou, and that you had to be doing what they wanted you to do because you should be doing it. You owe it to them. You see, any which way you look at the narcissist, you realize by now, or you're learning, that they don't care about anybody. They don't look at you as a beautiful, bright, shining light. They never have and they never will. They looked at you as a pawn, as a pauper, as an indentured servant. They looked at you as the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the person who would do everything for them above and beyond the call of duty, and tomorrow do it again, and the next day again, and the next day and again, and the next day, while you were putting your life on hold. This is what we did when we were in the relationships, but we didn't know then what we know now, which is now we need to cut toxicity out of our lives. And one of the many truths that the narcissist will face is they will never be able to replace you. Never in a trillion years. They could try, and I can assure you right now they are trying to replace you, meaning they're trying. By now you are either discarded or you are out of the relationship or you ended it yourself, any way you look at it, most likely. And they were trying, or they were thinking that the new supply would do what you did, but maybe do a better job of it. Well, you now know, because of the wisdom you've acquired, and I've known for quite a long time, almost 4.5 years, that you can't be replaced. The narcissist wanted you thinking that they did replace you, but the truth is you replaced the narcissist no matter when that relationship ended. Now, did you discard them? No, of course not. Did you remove yourself? Probably not, but maybe. Were you discarded? Yeah, you probably were, but anyway you cut it, the damage was done, and you didn't know what you know now, which means you weren't educated on narcissism, and you didn't know about human behavior and mindset, and that there are two polar opposites, the toxic side and the abundant side. The abundant side is where I am and where you are. That's the empath. That's the kind, loving, stable, healthy person who wants to grow and wants to pay it forward. But back then you didn't know that. So one of the many truths the narcissist will face is that they can't replace you. They will try, and they will try to get new sources of supply and go back to former old sources of supply and other relationships, and they'll go back to their parents' basement in a state 15 states away and live downstairs and play Xbox on their spaghetti-stained t-shirt, eating SpaghettiOs and not cleaning up and not lifting a finger to pay any bills and blaming you even though you've been out of the relationship for 5 or 10 years. But what will they be doing when they're not downstairs gaming? They'll be on one of their 3 smartphones looking for what? That's right, your replacement. Looking for a new source of supply, looking for another place to infiltrate and to blow up that household from the outside in, or from the inside out, I should say. But they're finding it harder and harder to do that these days. Now, right now, you may say, well, that's not true. Actually, what's going on is they are doing very well with finding supply sources. The truth of the matter is there are 8.2, maybe 8.3 billion people on the planet, and the narcissist can always look and search for new sources of supply, but there are different levels of people that will do certain things for the narcissist. And the person who you were when you were in that relationship, number one, is gone. That person will never return. Same with me, which is why you're in the third version of you. But second of all, you have to understand that so many people are now understanding what toxicity is, and many of them are understanding what it is without even having been through the narcissistic abusive cycle. The younger generation of people in their 20s and 30s-ish, maybe even a little bit younger, but let's use those 2 age groups, many of them haven't been through the cycle. Some of them never will be through the cycle, but most of them, because of the way they were brought up and the way the tablet was thrown in front of them and they weren't parented perhaps the way you were parented, or just the changing culture over the last, let's say, 20, 30, 40 years. That younger generation, they have different boundaries that you and I didn't have, boundaries that we weren't taught, boundaries we had to put in place later in life. The younger generation, they're learning things much quicker than we did. Having said that, maybe these people won't go through the narcissistic abusive cycle. That's my hope. But if they don't implement and maintain their boundaries, they are just as susceptible as you or I are. Now, why I just shared all that is because the truth is the narcissists can run, but they can't hide any longer. And they're finding it harder and harder to infiltrate people's lives. What the narcissist these days is doing is they are trying harder than ever to use recycled sources of supply. Now, when I say that, I am not trying to suggest for you to think for one moment that you should want to be with the narcissist. No, anything but. You have to maintain your boundaries. Maintain no contact. Leave that parasite out of your life and understand that you cut the ties, and it took you a lot of work to do that. Once you're out, you need to stay out. What I'm saying is after time has passed, because specifically now we're in the month of December, you're in the holiday Hoover season, and the narcissist could rear their ugly head at any point in time. And don't think for a moment that I'm referring to the person you're considering. It could be the narcissist, the same dark energy in a different human body. That's what I'm trying to drill here. The narcissist is everywhere. They are short, they are tall, they are different skin colors, different ethnicities, they speak different languages, they have different educational levels, they are your neighbor, they're your colleague, your coworker. It's the person in the freeway traffic who is trying to get your attention. It's the person who's batting their eyelashes at you in a restaurant when they are ignoring their husband or wife because they're trying to triangulate you with them while they're ignoring their husband or wife from a table three tables away. You see, this is what happens. It's what's happening right now. It's what's happening long before you knew what narcissism was, and it will be happening for the foreseeable future. But the truths of the narcissist that they will have to face, one, their supply sources are getting lower. Yes, they are. Number two, more and more people are turning to the good side, the abundance side, the side of believing in themselves, the side of trusting their instincts, trusting their intuition, and paying attention to any red flags that may present themselves in that person's life. The next thing the narcissist has to realize is they are getting older. They're getting sloppier. They're falling apart at the seams more and more and more. And this goes to any narcissist. It's not exclusive to the aging narcissist. The next thing the narcissist must realize is that the biggest truth of their life will happen when they are about to leave the planet, which means they're going to have to face something much greater than a human being. What that power is, I can't tell you. I have my own viewpoint, but I'm not going to share it in a video, but that will not be myself or you. It's going to be something when they take their last breath of air. And usually the narcissist goes down swinging. Usually they don't repent. Usually they don't care. Usually they laugh and mock and taunt and say, whatever, I'm just going to continue to go through life this way. Because that's what they do. Having said that, in the afterlife, one never knows what's going to happen. You may have your beliefs. I'm sure you do. I have mine. Again, I'm not going to share it in the video. What I'm sharing with you is that the narcissist will have to face the ultimate truth eventually. Until that happens, on this planet called Earth, they still have to wrestle with the anxiety that's in their mind. They still have to wrestle with the facts of all the financial abuse they've dished out. They still have to wrestle with the facts of all the other people's time they've wasted. The legal system, the lawyers, the judges, the counselors, the therapists, the teachers, all the drop-offs and the pickups and all the babysitters, etc. They have to deal with all of that. Now, are they going to sit there and introspect and be accountable? No, they're not. But when the cold, hard reality hits them at 10 o'clock tonight, when their power goes out in their tiny little flea bag motel room because they didn't pay their rent for the day, and they have no internet service, they will say to themselves, wait, what is this? I'm supposed to have everything done for me. And I just discarded somebody a year ago, and I already blew through all that money, and now I'm here. But wait, I don't have anyone. They're going to look around. There's going to be no candle to be lit. There's going to be no power switch to turn on because the power isn't working. All the other motel rooms will be fully illuminated because everyone else is paying their bills. And the narcissist won't have any internet. So what are they going to have to do? They're not going to have electricity. They're going to have nothing, not even hot running water. What are they going to do? They're going to have to turn inwards and say, what do I do now? I don't have anyone to direct me. I don't have anyone to take from. I don't have anyone to manipulate. I've destroyed all my kids' relationships, all my stepkids. I've been married 4 or 5 times, and I've destroyed all those people's lives and all their in-laws and everybody. I've taken every penny I can and burned right through it. I don't have a proper car to drive any longer. I'm unemployable. I've been trying to milk the system in whatever state or country I've been in for years, but now that state or that system's catching on to me. Can't even pay this this rent or this fee for this motel room. What am I going to do? Well, you tell me, narcissist. You made your bed, lie in it. You see, that is a cold, hard truth that will face the narcissist. Maybe not that exact graphic example, but when the narcissist is alone by themselves, they do have that mind of theirs, the tiny little pea brain of theirs spinning around. And it's not telling them they're great, they're wonderful, everyone loves me, everyone needs me. What it's saying is, you are toxic, you are negative, I'm coming for you. You better get busy. You better continue to keep yourself occupied. Otherwise, my voice will get louder in your mind. What are you going to do? That's why the narcissist is always on the go. That's why they can't sit still. That's why they're always looking to keep themselves distracted and yet distract other people. That's why the narcissist needs people subservient and reliant upon them, because it feeds their fragile ego. It pumps up the falseness of the reality of what they're doing to people. Once that all goes away, meaning you're out of the relationship and you're 10,000 miles away from them and you're healed or you're doing great, you're doing what you need to do, which is elevating, ascending, changing, growing, and you already accepted the cold hard truths of the narcissist, who they are, what they did, how little they cared about you, and that you're different and that you're fortunate to be out of the relationship. You were healing, you are healing. That's why you're changing, you're ascending, you're growing, you're evolving. What is the narcissist doing? None of that. They're staying stuck in that low vibrational quagmire state where they exist, and that record just keeps going around and around and around. And the voices of the demons that play in their mind get louder and louder and louder. And their belief in themselves and their skill set of manipulating, I'm referring to the narcissist, and their belief in their ability to maneuver relationships, it's questioned more and more every single second of their life. Because eventually more and more people are saying the magic word to the narcissist. And it's a 2-letter word. It is the strongest word in the English language, and you should know it by now. I'll give you 3 seconds to say it with me. 1, 2, 3. No. When you say no to someone or something, you are saying yes to yourself. Play that part of the video. Play it a few times. That is the narcissist kryptonite, the magic word, no. No explanation, no defending, no guilt, no remorse, nothing. The avenues of communication are closed. They're closed forever. They're closed permanently. They can never be reopened. Once you do that, which is go no contact and block that person, all of the goodness begins to work through you. Does it happen overnight? No. Does it happen in a day? No. Will it happen over time? Yes, it will. And eventually you'll arrive at that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference. And this is where you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. Excuse me, you can come out in there here at the cabin and create a video. You can stay in the middle of winter and build yourself a nice fire in the fireplace, or fake fire, and just chill. You can have a cup of coffee or cocoa. You can do whatever you want to do. None of these things could you do when you were with the narcissist, because you were always busy, busy, busy. And the narcissist was always keeping you hidden from the truth. Once you figured it out and you applied the tools that I provide for you, your life changed. If it hasn't yet, it will after this video, I can assure you. And you too can be one of the tens of thousands of people who have broken the spell, who have broken the chains of the narcissistic relationship, and who have found a higher purpose in your life without those tethers anywhere near you. One more time before I close the video. The narcissist will have to face multiple truths in their life. 1 is you are irreplaceable. 2, they will never find anybody even close to you. 3, you've healed or you're healing. Number 4, they can try their best to continue to do damage all throughout their life, because that's what they do. But eventually it will all catch up with them. And when it catches up with them, I would not want to be anywhere, and I mean anywhere near them, because it will be such a monumental blow to their ego, to their existence, and to their tiny little brain. I would not want to know anything about what happened to them. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the very cold Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to close this real quick. I'm just going to let you know it's really cold. It's getting dark. I love you. I want you to understand something. As you are healing, as you're on the healing path and healing, you are uncovering the truths of things that were hidden from you for a lifetime. That's number one. Number two, as you're healing, the narcissist is just doing what they always do. I'm not downplaying it, but all they do is stay stuck in that cesspool of abuse, just doing it with different people. Number three, as you are healing and ascending and changing and growing and evolving, you are getting really clear in your mind. The clarity is arriving. It's not returning. It's arriving for the first time in your life. Whatever number I'm on now, I will say this. Eventually, you will reach the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. The first version is who you were before you met the narcissist. The second version of you is when you were trapped in the narcissistic abusive cycle. And the third version of you is when you are where I am, which is at the mountaintop of indifference. When you get there, you will see things the way I see them. Maybe you're going to see this video today when I post it. Maybe you won't see this video for 20 years after I'm creating other videos. Whenever you see it, you're meant to find it. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And what the narcissists, I'm flipping to them now, what they don't want is they don't want the truth to ever get out. They don't want anyone to ever heal, figure out who they are or what they did. But that's what I've done. That's what you're doing. And what that does is it does a lot of damage to the narcissist when their tiny little ego realizes that they took their best shots at you in an unfair fight for your life and you won because I won too. I love you all and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. It's cold. Bye.